VP and NiP VP actually taking the lead after such a close game on Train. Cadian, I don't even know where to start because it was so close. It really could have been anyone's game, I feel.
We talked about the importance of NiP getting off to a good start.
Yeah.
They had the good start. We talked about NiP magic. They had NiP magic. but for this best of one, so far it's just not been enough. Next map is going to be Inferno. But in terms of talking about the Train map, I feel like there was some good things for the NiP half, but there was just too many mistakes which was being made individually.
Well, they actually got both pistols and converted all those rounds, so that's 6 rounds off the bat, they're guaranteed, right? And the CT half wasn't bad. They got 5 to 5-0, contended very well. And then it's when VP started exploiting the inside bomb site. We've actually noticed been a change of positions there for NiP. So it's actually Freiberg going to the inside bomb site. I think before it was Get Right, correct? So he was the guy actually in there before. So that maybe that was why they actually, VP got the bomb down so many times there and actually managed to get 6 on the board in the end. But that wasn't really where it went wrong for NiP, I think. It was when they got onto the T side themselves. That's when they actually seemed to hit the wall, VP. We saw it at Sevo Land as well, and it seemed the VP Fortress is so strong on the CT side of Train.
Yeah, Fifth, would you agree with that? I mean, where was that weakness on the T side for NiP?
The thing is, they've always had the same issues as of late, is that they're very easy to read when it comes to their T side, and nothing really has changed there. Yeah, they tried to sort out their CT side. You know, Freiberg, he's never actually liked to play IB on the CT side. He's always complained about it. Now they got a chance to play on the inner bomb side. They switched him out, put Exist on IB, and then Get Right took Exist roll outside and going very aggressive with Forest. Yeah, like Henry was saying, they exploited that to a very large margin. Just keep on pushing in, and they end up just getting a round after round after round. And then when NiP switched over to the T side, it was the same kind of thing. They just default. Okay, this doesn't work. Smoke round doesn't work. Okay, well, let's just try and go in.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, every time they did these heavy executes, they always lost a guy or two in the beginning of the execute while coming out of their entrances. And that just makes it too easy for the CTs to, after that, have passive positions, wait for the rotation to come in, and just have the advantage in being more men on that bump side. Every time you go to the B bump side of Train, it's insanely important that you push forward as a terrorist, because the afterplan positions, being passive, is insanely difficult. You're going to get grenaded out, it's easy to read, it's easy to come around with crossfire as a CT, and retake this bump side. So that's a mistake that both teams did.
Yeah, absolutely.
But VP did the same.
Yeah, but it cost more for NiP because they didn't have any executes that actually worked for them.
Yeah, so I just want to point out, yeah, despite the score being 16 to 14 in favor of VP, the game really wasn't that close in terms of how much of an advantage NiP had, winning, like Henry said, winning both pistols, winning the anti-ecos as well. VP just, all in all, they were the better team this map.
Yeah, if you're losing the game after getting those 6 rounds on the board, it wasn't as close as it looks, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when we do take a kind of a hindsight look and break it down round after round, sounds like you guys are on point there. Well then, you guys talked about overall in the whole best of 3 how important it is for NiP to take that.
Henry said that.
Well, okay, right. Thank you for correcting me. Henry said that. Overall, I think what all 3 of you guys agreed upon is also that they are slow starters, so that the NiP has that going for them. But let's look at the next map, that Inferno 5th. So I assume you're slightly in disagreement with Henry that they don't necessarily need that win on Train.
No, not really. I mean, first of all, that was VP's map pick, right? NiP did not choose this one. They actually chose Inferno, and just based off of previous experience with NiP, they do tend to lose the first map. And NiP is one of those teams where being down one map, it doesn't really concern them that much. They know for a fact that we can play these last 2 maps just as well as VP can. It's just all about getting the initial start now. And I actually do believe that, I do think that starting T side on Inferno, it benefits them quite a lot, because NiP on Inferno, they have a really good statistics on the starting on the T side.
So the reason I said they needed to win the first map is because you're looking at the veto, and what we saw from them on Cash, it wasn't good enough. They seemed almost lost on that map, and that was similar finals, different finals as well we've casted them on. Cash seems to be a difficult map for them, especially if they're struggling on the T side. They're not really sure how to execute onto the bomb sides correctly. If they're getting locked down by a team of equal skill levels to them, they can't rely on their individual aim and performances there. So that's why going on to Cash, I don't really favour them going into that one. So I'm saying Train would have been a fantastic victory.
Just get the 2-0.
Just to get the 2-0 and not have to focus on Cash.
I mean, NiP has been insanely confident, as Fiflarion is trying to address here, on the Inferno map, also looking very good against Renegades earlier in this tournament on this specific map.
Very true.
And I feel like if they go ahead and win Inferno, you can just delete everything that's called statistics, history, and whatever on the last map, because then it's just going to be a battlefield, it's going to be the war, and NiP seems to, even though they often seem to lose the veto, to just go ahead and win this third map, even though it might not be the best.
All right, well, we're pretty much ready to jump into the map here. So then overall, just given how things have looked in the past, NiP having an advantage on Inferno, is there anything that you're looking at from VP on how they play this map to overcome that disadvantage they have?
They were known for in the past of doing these aggressive banana push with a double Molotov, where you simply nearly have no chance as a terrorist to approach it. So if they lock down that part of the map and exclude Freiburg, it can be difficult for NiP if they don't have any preset executes and the A-bombs that to rely on and don't heavily take control over the middle area.
Yeah, I fully agree. That's been a problem. One thing with that double execute onto Banana, though, when you have the 2 Molotovs, sometimes you just have to try and contend it. You can't allow the CTs to actually have that advantage every single round. You need to make sure at that point, the CTs can then play one player there. They know they've scared you so much that you're never going to face through. So sometimes you do have to show some contention there. I think that's going to be a very important factor. The Banana area is key going into this map.
Would you agree with that, Fifth?
I completely agree, because we were talking about it before as well. Freiburg on this map is so important because NiP needs the banana control. It doesn't matter if they end up falling back to that point, but just having that the control of that map just gives so much more space for Forrest and Alu trying to get a pick or two in the middle area. One thing to know as well, NiP, this is something they tend to do quite a lot in the past, where if they lose one member, if it's a 4-on-5, they always go B. I really want to see if this has changed, because every single team knows this. When they're one man behind, they always go B.
All right, well, sounds like this game could be bananas itself. Game 2 between NiP and VP. VP up 1-0, but can NiP pull it back? They are known as the slow starters. Let's find out. The third quarterfinal could end in this next game. We'll go to the casting trio to find out.
Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be on to Inferno. It's the second map here of the third quarterfinals in Lanxess, Cologne, ESL One 2015. Moses and Semler, are you ready for it?
After that first map? Nah, absolutely.
It's pretty much what Chover just said, right? You can never really count NiP out. There are slow starters. And so going into Inferno, I mean, this team is dangerous at all times. And Moses actually pointed this out. It's like the best that we've seen NiP play in so long. That performance on train shows you just what they're capable of, to take it 30 rounds versus VP.
And when they played their worst, they did beat Fnatic on this map in a grand finals, and that was at Gamescom when they won that major tournament. And I was absolutely sure with Inferno as the last map in that case, that should have been the end of NiP, and it wasn't. So with all of that combined, I'd say there's a hope here. But VP are definitely not to be underestimated on Inferno either. Yeah,
they had a slow start on train as well. But as you mentioned, that at one point the plow was revving up, and you got to remember that train map was at 12-6 for NiP at one point, and then Virtus.Pro just goes 10-2 and closes it out. So once that slow start ends for VP, it's hard to stop them.
Yeah, that's what they're famous for, right? I mean, we've made so many jokes. I'm sure they're going to give us a few more opportunities this tournament, or at least in this map. We'll see. But the second map with VP, they have the edge. But NiP, you really can't say that this team is lacking any kind of experience at all. They've been in crunch time so many times that they can grind the rounds out, get this map, and take it to map 3.
Now, you start on the less favored side. If you win the pistol, you secure yourselves some very, very key rounds, and you delay the CT economy for a very long time. Moses, how do you win that pistol round? What's a good play in the current metagame?
Some very aggressive and overcoming, using those Glocks, because you can be very mobile with them compared, to the P2K and then the USP on the CT side. So if you're aggressive with it, I mean, it works out much like gun rounds, and we've talked about this in the past, is that Banana's portion of this map plays out like mid does on other maps. You need to have banana control. You need to push the defense back away from the car, back into the bomb site. Give yourself a little bit control of the entire map.
Well, does it then help that NiP do have the king of banana on the team?
I was about to say, and as far as the strategy to go for here, YOLO B all the way. Just go, let Freiburg lead the charge. Forrest has been hitting shots as well, one of the best pistol players in the world. I mean, when these guys are on point, just unleash them, throw them at VP, overwhelm the defense, and get onto that site.
So to follow up on that point that you were making, Moses, about the aggression and about the speed, I feel like Envy did give us a pretty good schooling in what happens when you play that way on the terrorist side. Saw how hard it was for Na'Vi to keep up. Is NiP a team that can sort of adapt and sort of learn from a similar style as the one Envy played?
I don't think they can do it as consistently. Because the key to how Envy makes that work is they're so successful on their eco round, or not their ecos, their force buys. When they just have the Tech 9s or the CZs or a Deagle here and there, when they have those guns, they're able to do so much damage, and that forces so many rebuys. It takes away Molotovs, takes away smokes and flashbangs from the defense. So then they can continue to be more aggressive when they have those rifles, because there's not as many tools for the CT teams to slow them down.
Now, we end up talking so much about NiP, but I want to touch on VP as well. I feel like there are two different VPs that show up on this map, and one is one that get the first 5 rounds and then inspires an awesome amount of confidence in the team. That means suddenly you see them making really wild plays. Like, they'll push down middle with 2 people, even 3 people sometimes. They'll go very aggressive with AWPing as well, all over the map. And then there's the other version that ends up never having money for all of that stuff, and then they sort of crumble. And I'm not sure, it seems like, especially on Inferno, they have a very hard time, VP, of sort of, you know, getting themselves back out of that slump if they fall into it.
Now, a top-tier team needs to be able to reset and look at this as a fresh series, right? Okay, you're down 1-0, but that doesn't matter because you're never out in a game of CS. You can bring it back on the next 2 maps. But VP, they did have such a solid end to that train map where they just closed it out, basically clotheslined NiP. Going into a CT side on Inferno, still one of the most CT-sided maps in the pool. There are a lot of things favoring here, favoring Virtus.Pro. I mean, it's hard to get around. All of the pressure now is going to be on the Swedes, on NiP.
Yeah, it's going to come down. I think it's those first 5 rounds, like you said. If they go heavily in the way of Virtus.Pro and they get that swagger and that confidence, and they feel good about being overly aggressive, that's going to be dangerous. But if NiP is able to, you know, take the first 5 rounds, get their rounds early. You know, you want to get up to at least 5 as Terrace on Inferno, and if you can get there early on, then tack 1 or 2 more gun rounds on, all of a sudden you have an excellent Terrace half on Inferno.
So we do also sometimes talk about specialist players on any old map, but on this particular map, Neo and that B bomb site, there's like a very special connection. Almost no team has anybody that plays B just like Neo does. It's something that everyone watching now should definitely try and keep an eye on, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
No, but that's something that NiP are certainly going to be aware of, right? Because VP do have a tendency at times to just leave Neo alone on B. When you say specialist, Anders, you mean that they just leave him and Banana behind a smoke, and they're like, okay, Neo, take care of it for the next minute, and, you know, we'll just go ahead and stack 4 on A, right? So NiP need to find a way to deal with that, whether that's running through the smoke, trying to kill Neo early, or basically trying to bust open the defense on A, brute force method. They have to have an answer for this kind of strategy that Virtus.Pro are definitely going to be throwing at them. Yeah, well, one thing he does and be the B-bomb side very, very well in late round situations is simply just he gets his 1 kill and he just stays alive. And he holds that construction. He prevents any terrorist team that overtakes the bomb site from getting into construction. And that with that, it's Neil putting a lot of faith in his teammates coming in on the rotation to retake that bomb site. You have to have faith in your squad if you're going to play a style like that in a bomb site such as the B-bomb site on Inferno.
So on the terrorist side, once we're done with the pistol, whoever wins or loses it, we often see that, and maybe it's even doubly true for NiP, but on Inferno, entry frags seem to sort of make or break rounds, and NiP, it's been sort of a mantra that everyone's been repeating for a long time. They live and die by entry frags. How are they going to get them? Let's say Banana is smoked up like it usually is, and they're maybe a little bit scared to face Neo, so they go mid instead. Who's the player you're going to be looking for, Moses, to open up for NiP?
Forrest. He loves to go on that. He loves to go boiler and take that duel into lane, and if he doesn't see anything there, he'll peek out towards the left side of mid. And with the way he's been playing on train, some of those shots he was hitting, I mean, it's very similar. You know, angles and style as it is coming out of boiler like that. So it's Freiburg doesn't have that success over at B. A lot of it's going to fall onto Forrest.
Yep, and then basically the leader of this team as well exists. It seems like, at least, you know, discounting if that was a fluke on train, but he seems to be you know, zeroed in with the pistols right now. So perhaps we can look to him to provide some openings here for NiP.
The big thing to mention is the scary part for NiP on this T side, starting off on it, is if they come out stale, you know, they're very easy to read. Flaren talked about it on the desk, is if Freiburg's not getting those entries, if he's not having an impact over on Banana, not able to control that, you know, from there you kind of get the sense of where Get Right is going to be.
I'm very curious about this particular matchup. The third map in this series is going to be Cash. So if we just do a little bit of theory crafting and imagine that NiP can push it onto a third map, how does that look for the Swedish team then? Is that the sigh of relief moment? Now we've made it and we're good to go?
Not to me. just based on the way
to be frank.
they just played it on. They just played TSM against it,
Yeah.
and got crushed 16-2. But you know, sometimes that happens. What worries me more than the scoreline of that match is just the fact that they played it a style that wasn't working and they never adjusted, and that's a really scary thing to see for a team that has so much experience. It was so confusing to see them not change it up when they were getting punished because of it over and over again. They played it so passively in mid, but never put any kind of pressure there, even when it wasn't working out.
That's what you have to hope, that the experience that NiP have, as well as on the coach with Natu, who, you know, as Anders was pointing out, is one of the most experienced players in CS at the time, although he has retired, obviously, to take that coaching role, they're not going to make that same mistake, right? They're going to have to go back to a style that worked for them before and just count on the aim. And if Forrest and GetRight are hitting shots, I mean, that's what's important. Maybe going back to that old style, but being able to rely on the frags could be the tipping point that makes it possible for them to pick up this best of three.
So just to catch everyone up at home, we're just ironing out a couple of tech issues and then we'll be good to go. So do not worry, there's nothing really seriously wrong with the game, but yeah, just catching up with that. But it gives us a little bit of time to talk about all the things that we normally wouldn't be able to talk about because of all the frags that are going to be flying left and right. We talked about the pistol round for the terrorist side for NiP because it is important. It's a really high impact round if you're on that terrorist side. Virtus.Pro, what's a good pistol round? This is a map where we just talked about it. Neo could be alone on B. Would that be a clever choice in the pistol? Are you going to stack up bomb side, or are you going to try and play it a default style?
I wouldn't say he's going to be alone on the pistol. I think they'll have at least two players there. Sometimes teams put a third to maybe pop flash over the wall if they hear a rush coming, or even, you know, if they play three there and they kind of try and bait the opposing team into hitting that bomb site and they all of a sudden have it stacked and it's a complete turnaround. The big thing, I think Virtus.Pro, wouldn't surprise me to see them as a team, you know, get a player to cross mid quick, peek down, see if he can spot any bodies running towards banana, maybe go up into halls and just jump across and see if he can spot anything in alt mid. I think they're going to do some information gathering.
No, that's I wouldn't be surprised to see the kind of gamble, though, because VP are also an exceptional team. At the retakes, as we saw on train, they can get it in. So it's a question of, do they want to gamble on the pistol or not? Do you gamble on A by leaving Neo alone, or do you gamble on B? It's a 50-50 guess, and you're kind of also going to be influenced, obviously, by the tendencies that NiP have shown, either in scrims or in officials. Any kind of data that you've been able to gather on this team, that's all going to go into basically Taz's head, who is the in-game leader right now for Virtus.Pro. And that's something that we need to point out as well, because Virtus.Pro have a tendency to change in-game leaders, which also makes them very difficult to predict. In this case, in this tournament, Taz is once again at the reins of VP, making the shot calling here.
Right, and one thing about this map as well, rotations are very long, and coming into these bomb sites, these are choke points to enter into A or B that can be blocked off by smoke. So those information gathering plays and those reads are going to be so crucial for both of these teams, because if you don't want to rotate into a bomb site, I mean, we've seen it so many times. Two players fall at A so quickly within 2 seconds, and all of a sudden everyone else is forced to save because they're backed off by Molotovs, flashbangs, and smokes.
So a point I want to, now that we have the time to arm people, and obviously there's going to be plenty of new people watching, something to look out for is a trend that happens very often for all teams on the terrorist side of this map, is if you're in a normal rifle round, just rifles versus rifles, and you end up losing the early kill, so you're in a 4v5 now and you're on the terrorist side, very often teams will revert into sort of a B push instead. Whatever they're doing, they're sort of going to give up on that and then rotate back to B. Moses, try and shed some light on how does that work? Why is it more favorable to end up in B if you're a man down?
It's just a very easy execute. There's, you know, if you end up going up lane towards A or on the wrap side, you look at all the angles you have to face. Normally you're going to have 1 to 2 players over towards B anyways trying to get control of that car. So at that point in the game, you'll normally, you know, have it unless you were punished there, unless that's where you lost your 1 player. But it's just an easy site to execute on because you throw 2 smokes, you can throw some mollies on a couple boxes if you'd like, but it's a very easy avenue of attack.
Yeah, with any luck as well, you're only running into the 2. They haven't rotated an extra man over there. And so that comes down to the mind games again. What's going to be happening with Taz and if he's going to get the read on that sort of situation. But in general, right, you're looking for that favorable battle.
Well, we saw Vintage Forest. Vintage GetRight would be a bit of a treat, I think, as well, to try and take a look at. So while we're waiting, we do actually have a video about GetRight. So let's tune into that, and we'll be back with the game in just a second.
Being an emotional person is very difficult sometimes because when you're happy, it's everything going well. There's nothing problems in game, for example, or in real life, for example, as well. But when you're very down and you're very sad or very angry or something, that can affect your team when you're playing and as well outside of the game. the scene back then and now is just completely different, and you just know that if you screw up here and maybe another tournament, it's fine because it's gonna come more. Back then it was like 1 every 2 months, 3 maybe. So it's like many things and many different factors that included in that period back then. There's actually no reason to why I'm sitting next, like right or left on the line, and when we're sitting as a team, and why did they put me there and so on. It's just more like I sat down randomly one day when I was younger, and I was sitting there, and I was feeling like that's the spot to be emotional and like screaming and just like trying to help your team and pump them up when you're playing a big games and so on. So it's harder from being the new player and you're chasing your dream, because that energy is so much higher than you cannot really expect how much energy it is. Like, how are you gonna pump yourself to become like one of the bigger stars back then and so on? So you were fighting every single moment, and you were playing games, and you wanted to just become better and better than the rest, and better than the pro players back then. And nowadays, I've been a pro player for a long time. I know where I am. I know what I need to do, and I know already the secret, if you could say like that, how to become successful and so on. So of course you slow down because you already just succeeded a lot of things already, and it feels like I have a few goals left. It's not so many left on my list, but there's always new achievements that comes up and you add it up on the list. But back then it was maybe like 200 different things that you needed to succeed, that you wanted to succeed personally. Maybe nowadays like 50 left, and the list is getting smaller and smaller for each day that goes, and which is nice because I've been wasting half of my life on this game and being on tournaments and just traveling the world, and I just want to finish up my list before I stop playing.
All right. That footage at the end with Get Right when he's crying on the stage, that was at Gamescom. That's probably one of the best esports footage I've ever seen. Every time I see that.
I just want to point out as well that, you know, there was a fifth man with that one shot with at the end there. There was a disembodied arm floating in the air. That fifth man is up on the stage right now at the analyst desk with Florian. So that was last year when they won the title here. The last time they were in Cologne for a major, that was NiP. So there is a lot riding on the line here. There's an immense amount of pressure on NiP's shoulders because they are also the only team to have made the finals of every major. So that's also another layer, another weight there.
On this particular topic, Semler, what happens if NiP make this finals? There's one particular person in the world that has more riding on this than anybody else.
Do we want to, add yet another layer of pressure on there? I mean, perhaps. I mean, Thorin, I think, right? He said that he would shave his head.
Yeah, the only person I know who can successfully be smug even when he's not right. It's a talent that few people possess, but he has championed it.
Thorin is the master, no doubt about it. But he has actually made a bet where he will shave his head if NiP make it to another final, to a 6th final.
That's what I like to see, you know, put your money or your hair where your mouth is. It's a good idea.
I could give him some pointers if that shows up.
Explain, tell us, Moses, did you lose a bet? And how often does that happen? Because I can't remember the last time I did see you with hair.
Yeah, I lose a bet twice a week, 3 times a week.
All right.
Okay, so we can get away with one maybe, you know, and then you're old by the time.
Might as well keep going at this point in time then. Well, if you are just tuning in, then you're in time for the second map here of the 3rd quarterfinals. And there is still a 4th quarterfinals, obviously, which is Fnatic and Luminosity. But we need to get VP and NiP sorted out first. VP, they took the first map on train 16-14. An utterly close map that was very exciting. Now we need to see NiP if they can fight it back and potentially put us on a 3rd map, which would be Cash. We are just sorting out the last couple of issues, and I think that's about it. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Inferno is live.
And so far, there's the gamble. Pretty clear here. VP really focusing on the B side for now. And NiP, I mean, this is just a balance, but then Snacks hits the headshot on Alu, so no fake possible here for NiP. This is going to be a very quick execution from them. However, they want to try and catch out VP. If there's any opportunity to get onto this A side early, they want to take it, but Bialy landing one headshot, looking for another get right, dancing as best he can. Bialy using the pillar, but there's Exist trying to jump into him, and finally Exist will get the kill.
Well, it took so long that Pasha showed up as well. Taz looking for a headshot up in Graveyard. He's looking at Freiburg, and he ends up taking him down. Not going to get right, and here comes jumping around the corner. It's Get Right all alone in a 1v2. He's jumping with the burst fire, but he goes down to Snacks and VP. They take the round. And Bialy, I just want to point out, he only got the 1 kill, but staying alive is sometimes even more valuable.
Yeah, that was beautiful movement by him, but the big thing we talked about those gambles, which site was it going to be at? 4 members at the B site means once they get that first kill, Alu didn't even have the information, which is really interesting, because Ninjas in Pajamas makes the right call by getting up mid quickly, but crucially, Virtus.Pro, so many people at B, instead of falling back, playing it passively, they continue their aggression, get fast flanks on, fast rotates back towards that A bomb site.
And that's the important bit right there, exactly. And that's what Virtus.Pro are known for as well. Very little hesitation on their part. They're willing to take the fight. They are going to go ahead and just run straight into NiP. But NiP now, they've gone for the force buy in this second round. No surprise, with no bomb plant. They want to see if they can get some damage done. Turn it back around. I'm a little concerned with the lack of Tech 9s, though. But the double nade combo straight into Banana. Freiburg and Forest taking tremendous damage.
It looked like it could have been even worse, but it was bad enough as it was. NiP, you make this investment, you'd like to at least get in and get a bomb down, although on Inferno, that's even more difficult than it was on Train.
Right, crucially, there was a small execution by NiP. It baited out so many of the nades at this B bomb site, and they have 2 more smokes and flashes for another execution, but instead, Virtus.Pro is going to get aggressive in their own right. 3 kills for Snacks before he falls off.
Oh my god, and Neo gets another one. He's going to be able to lock it down. He's down to 1 HP, and Snacks will go ahead and pick up the quad kill. A massive amount of damage going into his pocket. All of them MP9 kills.
That is so much money for Snacks with those 3 SMG kills. Builds up a bank, 6-0 at the moment. Not even letting Ninjas in Pajamas get that re-execute off. They take the battle right to him.
He was above $6,000 at the beginning of this round. Second round, 6-0 as far as the frags are concerned, and Snacks is already the bank for VP.
And I like how you were leading into that, Moses, because you were trying to set it up that if NiP wait just a little bit longer, then VP will use the last of their grenades, and that's the time when they can sort of really recommit to the B bomb side. Maybe Virtus.Pro even realized that and thought, all right, if we're going to run out, we might as well go aggressive, and it worked really well.
True Virtus.Pro style. Use your last flashbang for some aggression.
Yeah, man, that is just beautiful. And now, well, I mean, it's not beautiful if you're NiP, and that's going to be the problem for them as they try and push up towards a site. But Pasha here with the P90, perfect weapon to have in this case because NiP have no Kevlar. They will get shredded if they try and take a fight with him. And he's supported by his teammate as well. So Bialy there covering his angle, just basically turning into a bait game.
I like Pasha's thinking as well. He's got so much manliness. He needs a, Doom Kitty P90 here to balance it out a little bit. Smart thinking. Pasha going to put up a bit of a Molotov. They're going to be around the corner, and he gets caught by Freiburg, but in the corner, surprise, it's Bialy. He gets a couple of kills, but it goes down to Alu, and this is a very good trade for NiP. They could do this all day, and if they catch Taz in the pit, then things might change. He reveals himself. He's going to come up, but there are 2 people gunning for him. Bomb being put down. If Taz goes down, this might be a bit of a disaster. Snacks coming in finally, and Taz staying alive long enough for his teammates to show up. So a good job once again here. VP, that's twice now that they've been playing a bit of a surviving game until the appropriate backup turns up.
Yeah, Taz in the pit just surviving there prevents NiP. I mean, they had a good round, but he prevents it from being a terrible round for Virtus.Pro. Stays alive, waits for the rotations. Either way, a plant for NiP on that round really helps them out. Since they had an investment into the second round that didn't do much, now they can get a few more nades going into this crucial first gun round.
I'm wondering if there's an issue with Pasha, but he's buying up. And there was a bit of a freeze time initiated, but what is happening? The pause has been canceled, so it looks like it's been sorted. I was wondering because Pasha did hesitate for a second there when they pushed around that corner. He was just looking into the wall, no mouse twitch or anything, so doesn't seem like it was a problem. Looks like everything went according to plan at least, and VP now 3-0. NiP going into the first buy round for them here in the 4th round of this first half.
Taz has kept that P90 as well, so no investment really from him in this round. He's going to have a lot of money behind it.
NiP, no initial attempt to take banana control, just trying to shoot a little bit through. Neo up here with the AWP. He's transferred that from Train onto Inferno. That's not what we normally see, but Get Right going down. And Bialy with a very important early kill. That was actually a 3-man push into apartments. That is rare.
That Virtus.Pro's been doing that. That's a strategy that helped them win the last Katowice major that they won last year. But crucially, they also eliminate Get Right off the map. I mean, that's where he goes on Inferno T side. He goes into halls, and so that's pretty much designed specifically to take him out and go from there.
Yeah, that's going to weaken NiP's offense significantly because now they lose their lurker. They don't really have to worry too much about Get Right. That may fall to a different player on the NiP roster, but for now, all 4 players for NiP spread out across the map. With this one strike, VP have done such a huge job at just slowing NiP down, wasting more time. They still have many nades here on Virtus.Pro's side as well. They have the incendiaries and even a smoke on Bialy, so they can buy even more time, forcing NiP's hand.
Look at the clock here. I mean, we were trying to point this out earlier. When you're a man down, you tend to want to go B, but look at the time. 30 seconds here for NiP to make up their minds. They need to go quick, and indeed, they're going to rotate back to B, but there's a big problem, and it's Neo. It's a Molotov. 20 seconds. He's going to put it up. The timing is absolutely godlike. They might as well not even try here, and NiP. This is going to be so rough. Snack's waiting, and he's going to get Al killed. They will drop Pasha, and Snack's also going down. What's happening? Neo gets the kill. He's trapped in the corner. There's 9 seconds. He hits the shot. What exists, and Neo absolutely godlike in that B-bomb side, and it's going to be Forest left. Not a chance. We did say it. We did warn you.
We were talking about vintage Forest. Well, there's a good example of vintage Neo with the AWP. 2 key frags to win that round for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, and the big thing as well is using that Molotov with so little time on the clock. It forces NiP to put their own smoke down, and that makes it even harder for them because then they have to run through their own smoke. They don't know where anyone is. And Neo, being that specialist player, comes up huge. Yeah, this is actually this start couldn't have gone worse for NiP.
It's a catastrophe. 4-0 now for Virtus.Pro. They've got plenty of money. They've got all the nades, the incendiaries, the HEs, the flashes. They've got everything they need to buy even more time. Again, they just destroy Banana. But luckily for NiP, this time nobody's there to receive the shrapnel.
NiP, I want to see a really fast round. I mean, the Tech-9s, just a quick couple of pop flashes and see if you can't catch someone off guard, and then just do not stop. Keep going. I think that's the name of the game here. They've got Freiburg over on Banana, no surprise there, making a bit of noise and just checking that no one is aware that they're at least not in middle. So Freiburg knows that they haven't been caught out yet. Question is, can they make this push work? They're right around the corner, and I think the explosion is just about to happen.
They're waiting for Neo to try and find something. He's got the only AK-47. He's trying to open this up, but they've got to find Taz. There it is. Forrest grabs it. That opens up the bomb site.
Pasha pushing up. He's going to be able to drop the bomb. It's a catastrophe exists. Now NiP have to go back and pick that up. The crossfire is there. Pasha will trade. And luckily, Forrest is there as well to take out Bialy, but it's still a man advantage here for NiP. They bring it back. Virtus.Pro down to a 2-on-2. Forrest runs out of bullets and he has to back off. 30 seconds left here for NiP to make the play.
What on earth is going on? Neo gonna miss the shot. He switches. There's no bullets left. There's 20 seconds and Snacks goes down. Forrest sprays and Get Right go down. It's Neo to clutch it again with a double kill, and that's 5-0 in favor of Virtus.Pro. The bomb. Pasha. Oh no.
That is soul-crushing for the Ninjas in Pajamas. They had the exact entry they wanted with Forrest having the only rifle. He gets them the bomb site, and the bomb is left alone in middle to get dropped.
I mean, the one thing they can take away from that, I suppose, is they did a lot of damage to Virtus.Pro. They made them spend a lot of money in this round. We can see that their economy is broken pretty much here. So NiP now have a great chance in this key round right now to turn the tide their way.
They almost have to win this, because if they can force Virtus.Pro into a savior, that could just negate how much of an error that was.
Yeah, but VP still have so much money. Look at that, incendiaries, HEs. They still have all of the utility to keep NiP off these sites. Force more situations like the one that happened in the last round.
Well, they clear out apartments, and as you were pointing out, Moses, Get Right, this is where he lives. There is a whole tactic that's actually named the NiP strat that rolls around Get Right staying in Boiler and the rest pushing B, and then him sort of lurking up behind. It's been a while, I feel like, since that's been very successful, but I'd love to see NiP try and see if they can revitalize that kind of play.
The push begins here, and NiP getting some map control here. Actually, they've got top Banana now. They're clearing that out. They've got top mid. So now they can start to make the plays. They still have a few nades to work with as well. 3 smokes, 2 flashes, all the firepower. But they're still pacing themselves out. The clock is ticking down. 35 seconds left here in NiP. They're setting it up. They've got the smoke going down onto Library, and they may be looking for a wrap onto B. This could get complicated. Pasha changing up, however, going into CT. He could be in the ideal position to deal with this. And Neo peeks, sees the men in Banana. This is all the information. Pasha, he trades 1 for 1, but the push begins, and Neo gets caught out, missing a shot. Snacks now the only man here for VP.
Yeah, he sees it coming. He just has to stay alive again. This is a question of surviving. If he lives, then they can still retake it. If he goes down, it's not even worth it. 8 seconds. Is he going to try and deny the bomb? He pushes through. He gets the shot. 5 seconds. Oh, no. Can they pick it up in time? They're trying to punch in those numbers and exist.
Oh, my God.
He's just going to get it done. Taz down to 12 health. What a clutch. They just get it in the last second, but it's still a 2v2. Byali and Taz, they might be able to do the snacks. He bought the time. He gave his life, but Byali's going to go down, and it's on Taz. What can he do? He's got no kit, no health, no grenades. NiP, this might be the first round and a crucial run. It'll break VP's economy, and Taz knows it.
He's closing in. He wants to see if he can't get another kill here if they try and push into CT, but that's not going to be the case, and he decides to back off, hold on to his weapon. See if he makes it far enough away. He's pretty light on the HP, and he just barely makes it. 4 HP left, so they will have the M4 going into the next round here. But NiP, that was a huge round to win. And in such close fashion, Snacks nearly saved the day once again. Just Snacks things.
Yeah, that's impressive. And actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Virtus.Pro force buys here because they know the economy for NiP is just as weak. And if they're able to do damage, if they're able to win this round, they reset it early on. They don't want NiP to string rounds together. And this is a perfect round to crush them.
I mean, there are a couple of French teams for which this wouldn't even be a question of whether or not you try and force up this round. Just do it automatically. Probably Fnatic too as well. VP could have been doubting it, but they're going to go for it. Byali up in the apartments. This is one-shot range with the 5-7 as well. So if you come around the corner, you get a headshot, you're dead. Armor or no armor. Taz with a really nice flashbang right in his face. And it's Byali going down, but Taz is also soft and pushing in. Forrest looking for an opening. And we did call him out as one of the people who needed to step it up and open up the middle. This time not going to be successful. Now we're in a 4v4.
And that was a magnificent kill by Taz. That actually slowed NiP down so much. Pasha not able to achieve anything, however, holding close with the Swag 7. And Exist is gone. Snacks will be able to pick up the kill and open things up here on the A side. He holds the line, gets 2 kills to slow NiP down. But it's all going to be on the man Neo, and he's closing in behind. He gets the backstab, and now it's a one-on-one clutch situation. Bomb has not been planted yet. And Neo still has the bullets. All about the mind games. Now he catches him out. Alu down to 23. Neo runs out of bullets and gets the kill. Virtus.Pro with the force buy, bringing it back. And once again, Neo there to save the day.
That looked like all NiP for the longest time as they entered in that bomb site, and Virtus.Pro claws their way back into the round. A brilliant one-on-one for Neo to win. Very aggressive, throwing the flashbang out, trying to cross, trying to catch Alu off guard. He doesn't do it, but he wins it with the pistol.
And off the back of that, NiP, they decide they can't let this go any longer. They don't want to be at 7-1. They need to fight it back here. They know that was down to a 1-on-1. VP got almost nothing out of that round, economically speaking, so they're going to try and put the pressure on here again. But Neo, he's had 3 rounds, I think, that's been down to him winning it. He's at 7-1, so it's not like he's got a tremendous amount of kills, but they've all been high impact. And now NiP, they're going to try and speed up a little bit here towards the archway. They got Pasha close at the max 7. They got Taz. This could be a lethal crossfire if they don't manage to smoke off one. And there it is, max 7 out of the picture for a moment.
Well done there. They're worried about the corner, but they are going to be able to push out Taz. Instant headshot onto Forrest to slow things. And now up short, but the crossfire is there. Byali will be able to pick up the 1, and he's still alive. Get right now has to worry about this position as his teammates close in. Pasha there to pick up 1. It's all over the place until Neo and Byali step in, and 3 players survive at the end for Virtus.Pro, stabilizing their income. And that was a forced buy out of NiP. They weren't able to reproduce what Envy are capable of. They aren't able to pick up that round.
So many rounds have been played so well by Virtus.Pro members just staying alive in the pit. There it is, Byali toying around the pole, just making it work. Just keep buying time for his teammates to rotate over to the bomb site. And now they finally, there was so much pressure being put on by Ninjas in Pajamas to keep their economy going, to try and reset the economy of Virtus.Pro. Finally, that pressure abates, and Virtus.Pro can get a little bit more comfortable.
Nice timing with the Molotov there as well to stem the tide. And NiP not going to be able to push up quite so far. They can't get a free gun there onto Neo, who was fairly far out there. Snacks waiting on the other side. He's got the MP9 again. He wants to make some money. But what is that? Freiberg just trying to get something going for himself. Tries to sneak through the smoke, but Neo not caught sleeping this time. And Get Right, no real opportunity for him to reply.
No, there's not a lot that they can get out of a round like this. I mean, they've got no armor, no grenades. I don't know what would have to go wrong for VP in this round for them to lose it. Byali going to pick up a kill and almost certainly going to be at 8-1. which doesn't mean that this half is over for NiP. There's still a chance to turn it around, but they're going to have to come up with something great here. Moses, when is the time for that timeout?
It's getting close.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be right now, and if it's not right now and they don't win this round, it's going to be before the next gun round, because this is starting to get out of control once again. Earlier in the half, they brought that economy so low for Virtus.Pro, but it's now just building right back up. So NiP is pretty much in the same spot they were just 4 or 5 rounds ago.
That's the issue. Well, you win that one round, and then it resets back to $1,400 starting money, and it's just a long grind from there on out. NiP, they're right on the limit. 9-6, 10-5. They're probably looking for the timeout around then if it really comes to it. But Neo, once again, taking control of Banana. He's got some backing as well. Snacks there to help him out, but that aggressive smoke goes down. So no early Banana control for NiP this time.
Nice defuse of the Molotov there by Ali. Obviously gives away a bit of his position, but he's got Taz up with him as well. So still a little bit scary for NiP if they want to try and flush him out. And now we do finally see the sole member over at the B-bomb site, Neo, holding it, not with the AW here, with the smoke, and a very difficult player to deal with, like we were pointing out.
And I like so much that he's doing it in stages. He's like, okay, I won't take the fight at bottom Banana, but I will smoke off in front of Car. So even more time is going to fall off this clock here before NiP can start really taking a shot at the B-bomb site. So now NiP, they have to pause, they have to wait. Okay, is it going to be sandbags? Are they going to be holding the angle close? And in the meantime, Neo and Snacks, they just fall back. Now all they have to do is sit and wait. They have the nades ready and waiting for NiP if they decide to push.
Yeah, and Virtus.Pro's being... They're trying to get a good read on this. They have Pasha cheating a rotate over towards B, playing closer to CT spawn with Snacks. He's also there to support Taz if any pressure comes up ramp side from Forest.
A look at the clock right here. 23 seconds as they try and push in. Snacks on one side, Neo on the other. It's a deadly combination, but NiP are going to go for it. Snacks going to burn Freiburg alive, and Neo spraying down. It's Alu going, great headshot. That might bring him back. Exist going to take down Snacks, and it's back to a 3v3. Pasha trying to catch it, but not going to happen. It's 8 seconds left, 7 seconds. Can they do it? It's a 2v2. They need that bomb plant, and there it is. Finally, it comes through by Ali and Taz now. Can they steal it away from NiP? This might be their last hope to get back into this half. Otherwise, there might be no semifinals here for the Ninjas. By Ali going to pick up the kill. Forest sprays down one. Now Taz, he can't block him off. He's got no smoke. He's going to have to come and find Forest, and that's what he does. And Patrick waiting patiently, sprays him down. And there it is. They win the 2v2. And Forest coming up with a double kill. He's going to leave it at 8-2. A much-needed round for the Swedes.
Yeah, a very much needed round for NiP, but once again, comes down to a one-on-one. The economy is still very weak, and just like a couple rounds ago, if NiP gets reset here, the rest of the half is just going to snowball on Virtus.Pro's play. It's actually it's so impressive they even got the bomb down there. With 20 seconds left, executing out of that B bomb site, they're forced to go through smokes, they're forced to go through Molotovs, and yet they still make it work.
I think the big surprise was seeing Snacks get overwhelmed so easily without really having too much of an impact there. That's not common. And so NiP, everything kind of pointing towards them getting that bomb plant, and then Forest with the clutch to save the day. Forest, however, or no, it's Freiburg actually, just going to be sitting on the Tech 9 here. There's that economic hit that they've taken. He's going to have to sit on the pistol. But 8-2, and NiP with another shot at getting back into this game.
Could this really be true? Do every single member of BP have $0 at this point in the game? I think they brought up everything they could. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
All zero.
It's a perfect buy.
I swear somebody bought a decoy, just to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
They're like $50 left. Okay, all right. I'm not even gonna use this thing, but.
Well, opening frag for Bayali on Forest, so it worked last round. This round, he's out of the picture already, and about 40 seconds left. So that means NiP, they've not gained much more map control than you can expect to get in the first 20 seconds, and now they're down to 30. This could get awful, but Get Right with a big opening, taking down Bayali. There's a chance.
Right, but Virtus.Pro's not falling for that one lurk by Get Right. They have another good read, and there's the aggressive pop flash out B. Neo gets 2! Can't get the third.
And that's the change. That's the turnaround. Alu and Get Right, the last 2 alive. And Get Right, he is currently right in the middle of them, but you're right, Anders. They only have 10 seconds left here to get this bomb down, and Taz has spotted out the bomb carrier. Alu, not a chance. Although, as I say it, he gets the headshot. That's cost him valuable seconds. However, can he get on the site? Yes, he can. Just in the nick of time. He will be getting the bomb plant, and now it comes down to whether they can hold.
This is ridiculous. Pasha and the Snacks, they're trying to come in. They have the health advantage for Alu. He hits a headshot. It's now a triple, and it's all up to Snacks. He walks in, and Alu is going to get the kill, all 4 of them. NiP, another round.
once again running the clock down. And as you mentioned, $0 on all Virtus.Pro members last round. This is the save, and this could be the turning point to where it looks so dire for NiP for so long. And now they finally brought it back into a winning situation.
I'm actually surprised to see Virtus.Pro go for the hard eco in this kind of situation, given that it's a double eco. It seems like they want to just maximize the money that they have for the next buy round. So NiP, they actually have a little bit of room to breathe here, as if these kind of clutch rounds weren't going to do it, weren't going to get the momentum, wasn't going to get the momentum back, right? Now NiP, they can go up against a nice, conventional eco round. Get those eco frags, feel good for a bit before they go up against the rifles again.
Well, the easier rounds as well to close the gap just a little bit.
Yeah.
If nothing else, they've bought themselves a buffer for the second half. If they win the pistol, there is a way, there is a tiny opening back into this game now for the Swedish team. It's still a tiny one, but it's going to get interesting. Freiberg with the one, but he dies to Snacks.
Snacks has been hitting some shots with that USP, man. Doesn't matter if you got a helmet or not. If he locks onto you, you are done. And now, well, very nicely done there by Alu. But Pasha is able to pick up a kill on Forrest. So 2 kills so far here for Virtus.Pro on pretty much a hard eco. And Alu looking to see if he can't find us the kill onto Snacks. Snacks dancing around on the edge. And he just traces the outline of Alu, who will be able to now open up that B site. The backstab not going to happen for Bialy, but he has succeeded in picking up the AK that Forrest dropped, and he's going to be all about saving that gun.
And what I don't know if we caught at the time, but what you were pointing out, Semler, is the fact that Alu was engaged in throwing away all the AKs out of the map so that no one from VP could pick them up.
That's what Snacks
a very important task.
That's what Snacks came out there to look for. He's like, where's the AK? Maybe I can grab this and get into construction, hold on to it for the next round. But Alu, that was some great foresight on his part.
Yeah, and NiP actually looks like they're hunting down just a little bit. I mean, they don't have a lot of money built up, so I know they don't want to risk too much. So they push forward a little bit, can't find Bialy. They're just going to let him have it, but that's going to be the 4th round for NiP.
I mean, we're starting to get into the realm of the feasible here. This is definitely starting to look a bit better here for NiP. And now we could get down to a bit of a tricky position here for Virtus.Pro. Do they just force up Kevlar on Bialy, let him hold on to the AK? Oh, wow, they actually have enough to go for a pretty solid buy here.
Right, they do. And you mentioned it, Anders, they're buying themselves a little bit of a buffer, a window of opportunity for that second half. That's when Alu, we've seen him in the past on that CT side of Inferno, his op goes to work. So this buffer is crucial. If they can just get 1 or 2 more rounds, give themselves some space.
They're certainly working very hard for it. VP are not giving away anything for free right now. Every single round, it seems. It's down to a 2v2. NiP, they're clawing and scratching to get back into this game, and they're going to have to try a little bit more. 4 rounds is not great, but it's workable. If they get up to 6 or more here, then we've got a very different story on our hands all of a sudden, and that can still happen. Snacks playing very close here, and obviously Neo behind him. And look how aggressive VP are playing. A big switch up right now.
Yeah, they really want to try and throw NiP off guard, try and break that momentum early on, but they're so limited on the nades. It's a very difficult situation here for Virtus.Pro. They continue to hold on to Banana and Bialy, as we can see, falling back on short.
Yeah, they were aggressive at both choke points, actually, Banana and mid, and now that they're running out of those nades, you can see them all falling back, playing more passive into the bomb sites.
And this is going to keep NiP guessing. They just used that smoke on T-spawn, so one of the players for NiP is actually locked in there. NiP with 40 seconds left are wondering what the hell is going on this map.
This is so scary. We've already seen what happens if you're low on time and the bomb dies, and Forrest not going to get an opening. He's instantly pushed away. Grenade follow-up in case he was brave enough to stick around. They've got a Molotov here in Bialy. That's going to lock down so much a quad. Look at the timing. 20 seconds. No one coming out of apps here. Bialy, instant headshot on Exist. The smoke will go up to allow Get Right to walk right into Bialy. No chance. Taz with a great double spray down. And Alu, last man left. And he is going to get the double, but nothing more than that. Bialy with a solid lockdown.
Yeah, and this is so many rounds that NiP's letting the clock run down. They're so afraid to be aggressive in these choke points with these smokes, and they're not making any progress. They have no map control, so when it does get down to 25 seconds and they're executing, they have such a long path into the bomb site, and Virtus.Pro in these crossfires just so hard to clean out of their positions.
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean, they're playing it so well. From the pit position, pretty much the most important position on that A site. The man holding from there is just doing so much work, and when you get that crossfire on the A side as well, if you don't have time to be able to approach those angles safely, look to get the headshot, it's not going to work out, as we're learning here.
Well, that's the thing. Virtus.Pro postures aggressively behind the smokes, daring him to come through, and then falls back into the sights.
Well, we still got 1 minute and 20 seconds, so if NiP are going to stick to the same recipe, it's going to be a little while before they start to really get onto a site. They're setting up in second mid. This is what Envy do when they want to execute towards Archway. They smoke up Arch, they smoke up Library, and then they go for it. Grenade return here, but see if NiP can make this work. They still got a good chance of making this not such a bad half after all.
Yeah, lead with the Tech 9, Freiburg with the Deagle as well. Not often you see the entry fragger using that one. And well, let's see, he's looking for the headshot, but the smokes have gone down to block off Pit. Taz, he's adjusted, he's up in Graveyard. Now he's gonna be able to look short, lands the shots and starts doing the damage. He's there, 3 quick kills for Virtus.Pro, stopping this push, but that existed. I'll come right back into it. Neo is there though. And it's still a 1v2, Olo planting right there, close, his teammate rotating around. This is all down to the timing, Neo to pick up the first one, but does he realize what's happening? Exist has got his back. Exist could have the angle here to end it all, and Exist takes the peek and pulls Neo off the bomb just in the nick of time. This could very well be it, NiP, can they pull it off? Exist doing his very best to keep Neo from defusing, and Neo's running out of time. The bomb is ticking down. Exist has done it. He has actually not bought enough time for Neo to get the defuse. And I know how anticlimactic that feels, but for a second there, it's just an impossible situation.
Exist did everything he could. So much time left on that bomb plant for Neo to toy with. And he just baits Exist out over and over.
That is heartbreaking. Neo had very few tools as well. If he had a smoke, imagine how difficult that would have been for Exist, but the time, it just took forever and ever.
That's it, it felt eternal. Neo was in that corner for how many seconds? But they do have, because of that plant, they do have the money for a reasonable buy here in the 15th round NiP. They have a couple of pistols again, but they do have 3 rifles and a handful of nades to work with. Could have been a whole lot worse if they didn't get that bomb plant and that bonus 800.
They're being so much more aggressive than they've been at all in this entire half. Now look at how fast this push is.
Oh, Bialy's going to be in a lot of trouble, but he's actually getting good backup. Look at that, another 2 people rotating in. They need a strong entry kill. Bialy softened up a bit, flashed as well. He's still on the balcony. Passing the minute mark, Bialy sprays one, but gets killed by Pasha, a team kill. Pasha picking up everybody. It's a triple, including one of his teammates. That leaves us in a 2v2 with 50 seconds, and Snag will spray down Bialy. And now Forest, we need him. They walk in right in front of him. He's going to try and spray them down, but they're all over their place. And the half is going to finish 11-4 in favor of VP. What a performance from the Polish team. They earned this.
Yeah, those hits on the 8 bomb site by NiP, every time Virtus.Pro just get enough kills and just delay long enough for the flanks from Neo Snacks. They get there so quick. It takes NiP so long to get the bomb planted. They can't even get in post-plant positioning. And Virtus.Pro just exploiting that on those retakes.
Just showing how effective it is to have that crossfire on the A side. So many angles you have to check.
Now into the second half here. If VP win the pistol, then with a little bit of luck, they'll fight their way back to 11-7, sort of more or less immediately. And then we've got somewhat of a fair fight on our hands. That's definitely doable to win the CT half of Inferno from 11-7. If they lose it, then things start to get very rough.
Mentally as well. How do you keep your cool if you lose the pistol? I mean, you have to pull an Envy basically and win the follow-up. It's like, okay.
Right, yeah, that's the key. You have to really try and you have to stabilize that economy early on. Like you can get really messed up if you can't get any money behind your buys in the first 3 or 4 rounds of the half.
So Forest right now is stuck at 6 kills, and we talked about Forest and we talked about the vintage style. Now there were a couple of pistol players in 1.6 that sort of stood out. Forest is definitely one. Edward, who now plays on Na'Vi, is another one. They need that USPS now, and it's actually sort of a specialty of his. I need Forest in this second half here to step it up. I think that's what NiP need.
Yeah, without a doubt. No question at all. That's how they had such a strong start on train, or at least they were able to put up such a strong fight.
Right.
It's the fact that you had Forest, you had Get Right, and then Alu as well. That trifecta.
He's the one for me, Alu, that needs to come up big in this second half. They need to get that AWP in his hands early. You know, if they lose this pistol, don't have Alu buy. Find a way to get the op into his hands anyways as early as possible.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be just 8 seconds left for the beginning of the second half here. Second map in the third quarterfinals right here in Cologne. So give it up. It's NiP versus VP, and we're going to be live once again.
Let's see exactly what they're going to go for on the buy here. Virtus.Pro still holding off. Snacks. He's kind of on the side, but he will go for nades. So again, triple Kevlar, double nades here for Virtus.Pro, same as on Train. NiP, a bit of the same approach, although not straight Kevlar. All he does is just choose to invest in nades as well as a pistol. So firepower fairly even here on both sides. Alu with the touchdown, nade Chi, just a second too late. And Virtus.Pro are instead just gonna go for the straight YOLO B. No respect, running right into the crossfire and completely disregarding it. 3 quick kills on NiP. And this is a disaster. NiP now, how do they retake this site with only 2 players alive?
Well, there's definitely a start. GeT_RiGhT giving it his best shot and coming up with a pretty stunning headshot on byali. But there's so much more to go. They need to come up with nothing short of a miracle here. Alu and GeT_RiGhT sneaking in from either side, and they need to move quick. They have a kit, yes, but there's 4 people to kill, and look at VP just timing it perfectly. Snacks with a double, and VP with a very aggressive pistol.
Yeah, and there was even 3 players stacked for NiP around this car, but how do you prepare for this? You're set up perfectly and you still just get overrun. That's Virtus.Pro. We've talked about them when they get into that fast-paced, aggressive, no-respect style. They're such a hard team to stop. Everyone knows it. They're showing it here. 12-4 lead, commanding lead.
Yeah, that's some confidence as well from Virtus.Pro. They realized they did so well in the first half. Why not take a risk? They still have so many rounds to play with. They're confident that they'll be able to get the job done, even if they give NiP the strong start.
Look at all these SMGs on Virtus.Pro as well.
Yeah, they were looking to farm, man.
That last round was dreadful. The Swedish ninjas, they'd done everything they could to put a stop to the Virtus.Pro. They stacked all the IKEA furniture and the meatballs, and it just doesn't matter. It just plows right through.
Anders, I thought you were going to go a totally different direction there and call them the Swedish meatballs, but, you know, that works too. Let's see now, NiP. They have gone for the force buy in this situation. They got the swag 7 on GeT_RiGhT. 4 pistols, a few Kevlar, and the nades. And it's going to come down to this man right here on the B site because NiP are currently gambling. And it comes down to whether Friberg plays this patiently. He needs to find the headshot instantly, and that's of course possible with the 5-7. Does such big damage. byali just dancing around. Friberg hearing the steps, decides to take the risk, take the peek, but he's gonna get Molotov down into the open. There you go! Nearly 2 headshots. He gets the 1, but byali survives, and that opens up the B site now for Virtus.Pro.
If he had got byali as well and escaped back in, that would have bought enough time for the rest of the team to show up. As it is, even with byali low, going to be very tricky to try and get back in the game here, but maybe they could play for exit frags. Make sure VP don't come out of this round with too much. That's still important because NiP, or at least that's what they bought in the first half, they're going to get a chance to get a real buy round in here.
Good damage being put out there onto Taz, at least, trying to make this as expensive as possible for Virtus.Pro. They want to be careful about feeding Virtus.Pro too much with those SMGs. 600 bucks already on byali. Forrest not going to find any joy here. He's pinned down. Taz is going to just try and find his way out. Taz might very well go up with the bomb. He's very low on HP. byali as well. byali made it far enough away, but Taz is dead. And that's potentially a gun here for NiP, but Neo denies it. As we switch away, Neo making sure that NiP couldn't get that MP7 for free.
Yeah, and the big thing too is on these anti-ecos, a lot of teams you'll see they go for information plays early on to try and find out, trying to feel if there's a stack at either one of the bomb sites. But because Virtus.Pro bought 4 SMGs, they're able to buy smokes, they're able to buy Molotovs and nades. So instead of going for an information play, they do just a straight up molly execute onto B. They clear out a couple of positions. That means they don't have to check them during the execute. Force Friberg out of position. They're able to trade them off easily.
Just very impressed by Virtus.Pro. The first map was a very long one. Then we had a bit of a break, and they sort of kept their focus all the way through. This is quite impressive, and they're just 3 rounds away from making it to the semi-finals here at the major and knocking out NiP, which would be a bit of an upset. The first time that they don't make it to the finals.
And this is that information play I was talking about. Look at Neo. All he's got is a 5-7, so not a whole loss if he goes down here, but he's found his way into a really sneaky position.
GeT_RiGhT does spot him. Neo still just buying a lot of time here for his teammates to react, but Forrest is also on a mission of his own. He's currently going through underpass, so as Neo finds an easy headshot onto GeT_RiGhT, Forrest could very well get a few of his own. Unfortunately, he's only got the USPS. Friberg gets overwhelmed immediately. Alu, however, will land 1. byali there to clean it up, but Exist will finally catch the lurker. Still, a man advantage for Virtus.Pro. Forrest and Exist, they box them in. But now they need to deal with it. Do they just go for the exits, or do they attempt something big here?
You've got to feel like the timing on Forrest, I mean, unknown to him, but we could see that a little bit more speed, and maybe even if he'd had a better pistol than the USPS. There was definitely an opening, but I don't think Forrest could have known.
Well, you could see the intelligence behind that play as well, because with the pressure that Neo was putting on that A bomb site, Forrest could have very well turned up mid, thought it was an A hit, but good communication from his team lets him know that it's the only person being seen at that A site. That's what allowed him to flank up Banana. But either way, Virtus.Pro cleans up that round without taking too much damage in either of those eco rounds for NiP.
If there is such a thing as NiP magic, if it's not just all marketing, then now would be the time to swing that wand and put it into play here. They need a bit of an epic comeback to get back in the game here. They're 10 rounds behind. It's the first buy round they get here on the second half, and they've got to come up big. And Freiburg flashed in, but also Team flashed in, and ends up having to fall back. Bit of a shame, because there could have maybe been a kill on by Ali.
Yeah, that could have been what turned it around at least, but Exist will peek out. 1-for-1 trade, however, that's not going to be good enough. Alu not missing. He hits hardly anything at all. Neo will live, and Snacks with a double kill to open up on that A site. But they've just infiltrated completely here. Get right now has to worry about somebody getting into CT behind them, and he will find Neo. But that was a low HP member for Virtus.Pro. Snacks continues to hang out in the library.
And that means over at the A-bomb side, it's Forrest who's alone, and in just a couple of seconds, they're going to wrap around. And if they kill Forrest, I don't think GetRight's going to be close enough to get the refracs necessarily, so maybe it's all going to be on him. 40 seconds left. GetRight, does he spot one? He sees Pasha, so he knows a little bit of information for Forrest here, that they're creeping around, all three of them, and now he's been spotted in a very bad spot. Grenades raining in, Molotovs, he has to clear out of there. GetRight gets a kill, comes up from behind, but that's all he can get. And now it's all on Freiburg. 1v2. If he doesn't get these 2 kills and defuses the bomb, I don't think NiP can make it back any longer. He's got the AK, he's got no kit, no grenades, and he's creeping on in. A bit of a crossfire. He picks up a kit in the meantime and buys himself some time. By Ali be a good target. He's already low. Snacks is there, and Freiburg gets the damage, but not the kill, and he goes down. Snacks with a quad kill, and what a round here from the Polish player. That's going to put Virtus.Pro on match and map point.
You see the difference in the offensive styles between these two teams perfectly in that round, because Virtus.Pro, with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in that round, flashed themselves through that mid-smoke. They get up arches very aggressively. NiP, unlike Virtus.Pro on their defensive side, aren't posturing behind that smoke. They aren't preventing anyone from running through it, so it's basically free map control for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, there's a whole another level of comfort, and then that allows them to actually get into awkward spots for Ninjas in Pajamas. Think about it. GetRight had to worry about having 2 guys in CT in the back lines for what, a minute in that round?
Right, and he did kill Neo, I believe it was, who had the 2 HP, but that was perfect. That was just basically a decoy, because then they flesh out the position of one of the players. They know exactly where GetRight is in CT spawn. They know one is more than likely B, one is more than likely A. That defense is so spread out that Virtus.Pro is able to pick it apart.
Well, this is going to be the big moment here. Match and map point for Virtus.Pro. They've got everything going their way. 2 rifles for NiP, a shotgun, an SMG, and a pistol. That's what they have to work with to hold off the Virtus Plow. And well, VP, they've got all the map that they need at this point. They've got top banana, and now they're going to start taking a look towards mid.
And NiP just don't have the utility to keep this on lockdown in the way that we saw the VP did. They don't have any Molotovs. They've got Freiburg here with the Molotov and flashbang, but there's still 40 seconds left. So it's actually a pretty good job on Freiburg that he's managed to keep these grenades for so long, and they need them. But Snacks in the middle, drops Aloe, pushing through the smoke, right into Pasha. GetRight actually gets that kill, but they lose the A-bomb site. Forrest and Exist are up here. Can they stay alive and maybe even prevent the bomb? Neo says no, and Exist, this is not the optimal range for the Max 7. He's making it work as good as he can right now. Freiburg coming up with a kill, and another one here by Ali alone. NiP, they're turning it around and spraying through the box by Ali. He's got 10 health left. He goes down. Freiburg picks up a triple, and NiP, I have no idea how, but they do win the round.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff. I mean, so much damage is done, and Freiburg just comes in at the perfect time to clean things up. That was the tipping point. If Freiburg is just a second or 2 later, he doesn't get those kills, that bomb site is overrun and the round's over.
Essentially, because VP would have time to set up, they just lined up for Freiburg in that 5-7. That's all he needed. So NiP, they buy themselves another shot at this, and they are going to have better gear going into this round as well.
Show of hands just between the 3 of us here. How many believe in the full 10-round comeback into overtime?
There was a time where I would have said anything is possible when it comes to NiP. 10 rounds in a row, sure, they can do it. But right now, Virtus.Pro, I think this is essentially history in the making.
I'm seeing no hands. Not even Fiflaren is putting up his hands, so you gotta wonder. No faith here in the NiP comeback. Well, we're gonna have to see if they can prove us all wrong. It's currently Freiburg up on Banana. Get right, falling back just a little bit here. And VP, they must be feeling very confident at the moment. Just waiting for those smokes to clear up. And actually, Pasha making a play to look over. Something that's become a very common thing, but still, it's very hard to deal with.
Yeah, Freiburg on NiP just used the last smoke at about 1 minute. There's still a full kit, a couple full kits for Virtus.Pro for an execute later on, so very low on utility, still a very scary situation, and complete control of mid for Virtus.Pro at the moment. No pressure being on. Ninjas in Pajamas is already falling back more passively into the bomb sites. This gives a lot of space with 45 seconds left for Virtus.Pro to work with.
Freiburg, no nades left to hold off on B. He's going to have to count on the rotation to come in from his teammate. And even Gerrit only has the single flash, so that's going to have to be the most effective flash in the history of CS.
He can't be this far away with only one flashbang. Freiburg has nothing to work with here.
Wow. This is it. Smoke's coming in. The Molotov's going down. Gerrit sets up the pop. It's going to go right through. Good flash. He does manage to get 2 kills out of this. Freiburg lending in. But it is going to be Freiburg now having to buy the time. Full rotation coming out from NiP. It's only seconds away, but Bialy just completely annihilates Freiburg, and it's now turned into a 3-on-3 retake. Bomb has been planted.
Once again, this game is the edge of a knife for NiP. Gotta do this retake or it's no more tournament. Bialy hiding in the back lines. VP, they want to play this one safe. They don't want to show themselves. Great headshot from Snacks. Taz is there as well. Exists alone. And he's going to go down. And Virtus.Pro, they make it to the semi-finals. 16-5 victory over NiP. What a performance.
And that is the end of a legendary streak. NiP, the only team in the history of the majors to have made all 5 finals. They've won 1 of them, and that is it. Virtus.Pro, they will be ending that story.
Yeah, the trademark aggression that we know Virtus.Pro for. And we talked about it at the end of that train match when they went on that run, and they got that momentum, they got the plow rolling, they carried it on to that second map and just never let up.
The first major the VP won was called by Neo. Now it's Taz with the lead here, and he has really been able to focus this team. You can tell today they were being whipped into shape here, and a very good job indeed.
Yeah, the cheering section there for Virtus.Pro just going wild, and the bow. The gentlemen, a well-deserved victory for Virtus.Pro. They will be going on into the semifinals now for another shot at a major title. But what showman in the end. And that was just outright dominance on Inferno. It was the worst case scenario for NiP. It is.
Yeah, and actually that first half on Inferno, the scoreline doesn't suggest it, but there's so many rounds where the economic situation could have swung either way. And it was just never able to tip into the balance of Ninjas in Pajamas, and that's what really was just too many crushing blows for him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be on the main stage with the OJ and Taz, so take it away for an interview.
Thank you very much, and with Taz right now. Taz, the first question is, so you're not the easy option then?
I don't think that they will repeat the same words next time, but still, it just gave us so much more fuel, especially for me. I was thinking about this game since yesterday. I was thinking about this game when I woke up. I was thinking about this game when I ate breakfast. I'm thinking about this game now.
So how much can you, when somebody says something, when you get pumped, when you are angry, when you want revenge for words that are said, is that when you're at your best? Is that when VP are at their best?
That's when I'm at my best. But my boys today played, super awesome. You know the word, right?
I know the word. It's a, family show.
Yeah. So kudos to them. I think they also took it to the heart. And thank you to the crowd. You were awesome.
And it was an amazing win. How much does this lay down a marker for you getting to the semi-final and then who knows what, the final and a win of a major?
I want to win it all. I don't care about the semi-final. I want to win it all.
They are fantastic words. What a game, what a match. Put your hands together for Taz and VP. let's hand back over to the expert desk.
Thank you, OG. We're back at the NVIDIA expert desk, and wow, so far all 2-0s. VP just shutting down NiP. The magic finally stops, gentlemen. We will not be seeing NiP at the finals of a major after 5 amazing runs from that brand. But all credit to VP. Kaden, kick us off here. I mean, VP looked, as the caster said, super aggressive, and they pulled it off.
The problem is most likely when you're able as analysts to telegraph the game before it actually is happening.
Sure.
Then something is wrong. Like if you play on coding that every time NiP is a man down, they're gonna end up going B. We called that they were gonna have the easy banana control every time Virtus.Pro. This allowed them to have this big lead, I think 7-0, 8-0 or something. When they finally lost around Virtus.Pro, they were actually in an economical problem. They had a bad economical situation, but they decided to go for the force buy, and at the time they won that one, everything just switched. They win that, they get the momentum, bam, you get a good CT half.
The headline is they just didn't get enough T rounds. On the 4 was not enough. The rounds they got, not winning the pistol again. So this time VP actually won both pistols, and that goes to show when you get that run, you get the 3-0s in. That's how powerful they should be. The NiP getting those on the train map, it didn't seem to convert that way for them. But Virtus.Pro very, very strong on the CT side. They're so crushing. They're so good at locking T sides out. Great use of utility, and overall just very powerful side there. Once NiP finally got to the CT side, it was very difficult to watch. The first round they actually got on the board was the Mag 7 5-7 crossfire coming into the apartments, and that was exciting to watch, but it was too little too late at that stage, I'm afraid.
It was pretty late, and for them to be able to carry that momentum. Fifth, I mean, exactly what Kadian said. In some ways, it just must have been heartbreaking in a disappointing way that you called these flaws that they were going to have, and it literally panned out the way you said it might.
I mean, they've been doing the same thing for over 2 years now. Like, I could call every single thing that they do, and I mean, if I still can do that, and I haven't played in that team for over 9 months, right? Every other team can do that as well. Every other team will look into the teams that they're playing against. It doesn't matter if you're switching up your CT side, maybe you go back to be playing a little bit more aggressive, taking banana control every single round, pushing down mid when they're saving. At the end of the day, when you keep on playing your same T strats over and over again, you're not going to have a good time. And you saw that. They lost the pistol, called it right away. They will force buy up, go banana. VP double naded. After smoke faded, they actually threw over a flash. Biala got 3. Being a man down, end up going B. The only one round that they actually did not do that was because Getra was lurking up middle. He did get their frag on there, and you saw the bomb rotating.
Yeah, and in contrast to how Virtus.Pro were doing the heavy banana takes, NiP actually did exactly the same in that one round where they had full utility. What Virtus.Pro did, they just leaned back, let all of the grenades being used from the NiP side, and then in the end, they go ahead and attack the B-bomb side, while everything Get Red and Freiberg has combined is one flashbang, and that's difficult to hold a bomb side with.
Now, then we're talking about the flaws at NiP and how really this time around it was just a gaping hole in their play. But on the side of VP, though, to be able to confidently take advantage of that, I mean, in this second map on Inferno, 16-5, that's a very convincing scoreline. Of course, in the first map, 16-14, a bit of a close one. VP, how good are they looking now going into that semifinal where most likely they're going to have to face Fnatic?
I mean, I think at this point for Taz, no matter what the statistics say or anything, he's gonna be furious. Like, he's ready.
Yeah.
He doesn't care who he's gonna play against. He feels right now that they're gonna win this, and I don't think he is doubting it at all. That's the way that these Polish players just are. Like, as soon as they get going, they want it all.
Yeah, that's what he said. He didn't even care about the semi-final going into that. He just had his eyes on the main prize, which shows how badly he does want this and how much it means to him.
And the last time, for me, that they really had that was at Katowice. And at that time, they proved that they were strong.
Yeah, I think anyone, even if you weren't really involved in CSGO, you heard about that happening because you could pretty much hear the crowds chanting that all around the world at Katowice last year. Fifth, what's your thoughts on VP? Taz's interview was pretty fearsome, right? He was very confident in their play so far.
Yeah, and I mean, he should be. He played amazing this whole series, and just basing it off of the group stage first, VP was looking very solid. Coming into the NiP game, they had a game plan. We're going to pick Train. It was close, but I mean, last time they played, NiP won in overtime. they did have a very solid set of executes now. And like I said before, even losing both pistol rounds, losing the eco rounds as well, giving basically NiP 6 free rounds, they still managed to win. It just shows how dominant VP was throughout this whole series.
Yeah, well, tell us what you think, all of you fans here and, of course, at home. I'm hearing over 1 million of you guys tuning in with us. Tell us what you think. Hashtag ESL1 about that previous match, and, of course, another matchup coming up. In hindsight, Henry, also, you turned out to be right. I mean, it was important to secure that first map because Inferno actually looked to be shaky for NiP.
Well, we said that was their pick and they should be capitalizing on that, but it just didn't get into the game. It was too late when you're 7-0 down. The first round they actually got onto the board was pretty scrappy. Remember, the bomb went down on the site. They planted within 1 second. It was so hit and miss. It could have gone either way, but there was no real convincing rounds for them. It was always just them fighting right down to the last man. They didn't do any like clean executes and wipe out a bomb site. It was all very scrappy towards the end, but you can't take anything away from that. I think the 4 rounds they did get, considering how the first 7 rounds of the game went, was I think they did pretty well to get 4 rounds. It's just like we said, both pistols not going in their favor, 3-0s there, and then when that does happen, that's a scoreline you will be looking at.
And what we have actually left back with, looking at the NiP results of this tournament, is a win against CLG and a win against Renegades, a big loss to TSM, and a fairly convincing win for Virtus.Pro as well. So they're not going out of this tournament looking strong at all.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, now to put that in Hull's perspective, it's not just a weakness in this matchup. It seems like, yeah, maybe now is the time to really make some changes for NiP. At the same time, let's put the spotlight back on VP. They're moving on. They're going to that semifinal. And ladies and gentlemen, we're not done just yet. We have one last quarterfinal to determine who's going to move on. Is it going to be Luminosity or Fnatic? Meanwhile, if you've missed any of our games today, we've had a ton of amazing maps here on the first day of the quarterfinals. Now to round it out, go over to theScore eSports, check out all of their coverage. There's a ton to catch up on. Download the app at the iOS App Store or Google Play. We'll be back after the break with the very last quarterfinal.